Hello, friends. It is Tuesday, Taco Tuesday, Token Tuesday, but Token is not here today. Instead, we are joined with the Reverend Jeff Grams.
Whoa, what the heck?
No, it's a Ben and Hobbs show today because Token has some vacation time and he wants to spend it with his family. So it's a Ben and Hobbs show today.
I think we're getting some Facebook fuckery there. I just got to notice that we can't connect to groups and profiles due to Facebook restrictions.
Yep. So it looks like this is going to be a YouTube only.
That's all right.
Sorry.
It's 420. This is the episode where we get really high and watch Alex Jones videos.
Yes. That doesn't sound like a bad idea. Yeah, so today is 420 for those of you who partake in the devil's lettuce. I, of course, being the saintly type that I am, do not. There was supposed to be a big Dogecoin push today. Have you heard anything about that?
No, I honestly don't trust crypto. I don't know. It all seems like a big pool to collect inflation money because it has a bunch of on ramps but no off ramps. Does that make sense?
Kind of. So Ben doesn't trust crypto, and I still don't fucking understand it. You and me talked about this in 2016 when we were down in Orlando. It's like I can't wrap my head around it. I mean, I get like the mining of it is you invest your electricity bill and your computer processing into mining the coin in the same way that a traditional miner would invest his physical labor into mining something like gold or silver. I get that part, but to me, even though the dollar is inflationary and it is has been devalued something like 98% over the past 108 years now since the Federal Reserve and since we got taken off the gold standard in the 60s, it's still like when I have a dollar, I have a dollar, like a dollar bill in my hand, which for now is still the world's reserve currency.
Well, I mean, we're going to get into some pretty deep talk here. I mean, that you're going to open up the conversation on modern monetary theory. Does the dollar actually have value? Why does the dollar have value?
Yeah, and and the same thing could be said for cryptocurrency. Why does it have value? Well, it's scarcity, and it has value because people value it.
Well, so did what were those stupid ass Beanie Babies?
Yeah, people valued it right up until they didn't.
Yeah.
Whereas the U.S. dollar it's not backed. You could kind of say it's backed by oil, but really the U.S. dollar is backed by threat of violence.
Well, and that's what modern monetary theory kind of gets at. The reason the dollar has value. I'm trying to fix my lights here because I got something weird going on with my camera. The reason the dollar has value is because the United States will blow your ass up if you disagree that it has value.
Exactly. No such modern theory exists to enforce the will of Bitcoin and whoever the fuck Satoshi is.
Well, and I can understand Bitcoin a little bit. Bitcoin, there's a finite number of Bitcoins out there. And the more that get put in the market, the harder it gets to mine them. So it takes more electricity going into it.
Yeah.
So I guess there is a perceived value there. If I were going to if I were going to go to a crypto, it'd probably be Bitcoin just because of that fact. Dogecoin is just ridiculous. The value on it. It has no limit on the number of Dogecoins that there can be. So the higher it gets in value, in theory, people should start mining more of it and the value should go down, but everybody's just buying it for some reason. And that one, I think the bottom's going to fall out of it.
Oh yeah, it's the push today and in weeks leading up to today was largely driven by the Reddit crowd, the Wall Street Bets guys and everything. They're just like, hey, we did it with GameStop stock. Let's do it with something ridiculous like Dogecoin.
Well, the funny thing is, Dogecoin is the one that's most like the American dollar, if you ask me.
Yeah, kind of. I saw a Reddit post that was posted up on a screenshot of a Reddit post that said like something like Dogecoin does have a cap, or like a theoretical cap, where it gets to the point where everything the inflation drops by a percentage every year or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was an interesting take, and it kind of made some sense to me. But yeah, the whole crypto thing, to me, it's like, what happens, if the government hits that internet kill and you don't have access to your wallet anymore, or is that something you could just put on a thumb drive, or whatever.
Yeah, I guess the transfer, well, because to verify the transfer of your Bitcoins, it has to connect to the network. So yeah, that is kind of a scary point about it.
Yeah.
If they put the screws to the internet, I mean, how are you going to verify your Bitcoins across the chain? My favorite alternative currency at this point would be bullets.
Yeah, precious metals, lead, copper, brass, gold, and silver.
I mean, even a bullet has more value to me than a chunk of gold. A piece of gold. If I had a choice of taking $100 in gold or $100 in bullets, I'm going to take the $100 in bullets.
Yep. That's at this point, $100 in bullets is like 2 whole bullets.
It feels like it. I've taken to buying ammo in bags off of auction sites.
Yeah, it's crazy the way that
somebody over here commented, you can store it on a thumb drive, but if you lose the drive or it dies, everything is gone. I mined some Bitcoins back when they weren't hardly worth anything, just to see how the process worked. And I have the hard drive that the Bitcoins are on. It's only like 2 Bitcoins, but I've lost the wallet password. I didn't think they're ever going to be anything. So I mined them. The computer died later. So I keep all my old hard drives. I just do the hard drive in a box. But I mean, what is a Bitcoin now? That hard drive's got, let's see,
it's something like $65,000 per coin. So you're sitting on.
I mean, it's only $120,000 on a hard drive that I can never get into again.
And how many stories have we heard like that, where a guy gets, he mined all these Bitcoins back in the day, and there's like 1,500 Bitcoins on a hard drive in a landfill somewhere because he accidentally threw out his old PC.
Oh yeah, I've got a friend. He's got 10 Bitcoins that he has no idea what it is. I mean, I have the wallet ID on it. I can go look at the wallet and see, yes, there are 2 Bitcoins in here that were transferred in and never transferred out, but never be able to get to them.
Yeah, exactly. So, at least if you have something like ammo or a bartering item,
right,
or like physical gold and silver, not paper gold and silver, which is just fiat money by another name. But if you have like physical gold, silver, ammunition, food, other bartering items, you have something in your hand, and nobody's going to be like, hey, what's the password to that can of beans?
Yeah.
What are you, fucking high?
You got all your ammo in a box, and you got to put in a 30 character text to get it out. I mean, that's basically what those wallets are.
Yeah. It's pretty hardcore encryption on a lot of that stuff. But you were talking about modern monetary theory, and even though what I'm about to say doesn't really tie into MMT, modern monetary theory, it's magic money theory. It's like it's wealth redistribution with a lot of like fancy talk. The whole idea behind MMT is the idea that you can print and inflate as much as you want, as long as you tax that amount out of circulation, by the end of the fiscal year. It's more complicated than that, but that's kind of like a simple breakdown. And the idea is if you a universal basic income every year, and then you end up taking that out of circulation through taxing the wealthy by the end of fiscal year. It's wealth redistribution, and nobody that has any degree of money is going to stick around and let that
Well, a
happen.
lot of this stuff that the government does is basically like money laundering. I mean, they can't
Yeah.
just print a bunch of money and throw it in their coffers. They've got to run it through people first. So that's why, you know, you want to raise a minimum wage, because you can get that money back on taxes, and that's why they give it to us first. It's just basically money laundering on a governmental scale.
Right.
And I believe we are running on MMT. We just don't. It's just not official. Somebody brought that point up to me like 4 or 5 years ago, and I was like, "This guy's an idiot." And, you know, that's when I still argued on the internet, and I argued with him for like 45 minutes, and I came away like, "All right, well, maybe he's not an idiot."
Yeah, it definitely feels like it at times. And while they're not like doing the whole, like hardcore dumping money in and then taxing it, taking it out of the hides of the rich, we're kind of like on an MMT right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and the funny thing is, the guy that brought up that argument to me was a conservative Republican. It wasn't some Communist Manifesto progressive.
Yeah.
So if conservative Republicans are seeing that's how it is, and he was very active politically. So if they're seeing that's how it is, I kind of think that, you know, maybe we are just running on MMT and just but not everybody knows it yet.
Yeah, exactly. So, speaking of shady and shifty monetary policy, this is something that I heard about a few weeks ago, and I can't believe we didn't talk about it on any of our shows. But Rashida Tlaib said, she brought up the idea to pay for all of this stimulus and a $2,000 UBI kind of going forward by minting a series of platinum coins to cover it. And it reminds me, it's this will all, it doesn't make sense. It's very shady, but apparently there are numerous international agreements and laws that state that if you are going to mint coinage in gold or silver, it has to be relatively close. Like if you mint a $100 gold coin, it has to be relatively close to $100 worth of by weight. However, no such agreement exists for platinum. So legally, you could mint a $1 trillion platinum coin that's like, this big, and then you could just be like, now I have $1 trillion. The mint could do it. You couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But the mint could do it. And this idea was floated like we should just mint or whatever $1 trillion platinum coins and pay off our debt to China. And that would be shifty. It'd be shady as fuck.
That goes back to what I said, where they have to launder it through people if they print money. And, that's one of those cases where it was in the Big Lebowski where, no, you're not wrong. You're just an asshole. I mean, she's not wrong. She's just an asshole.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you can do that. Sure.
But, imagine what happens if you have this trillion, there's, 6 trillion platinum coin, and you do something shifty, like pay off the debt to China or something, or however much we owe China. I don't know. Now China has this $6 trillion platinum coin that is the world reserve currency. They have literally in their hands $6 trillion. What's to stop this shady Communist Party of China from going to OPEC and saying, hey, here's $6 trillion up front. We're going to corner the market. We want all of the oil that this will buy, all of it, every bit of it, until we get the $6 trillion in oil. None for anybody else, just us. And that's the kind of consequences to this sort of like short-sighted, it's good as long as you don't think about it too deeply.
Yeah. And that just goes to show, I mean, there's rules to the game that's being played with all this economic theory that countries adhere to. So doing something like that is kind of a game-breaking rule. And if it was a video game, it'd be out the next patch. Can no longer print $6 trillion coin.
Yeah, no more minting platinum coins in whatever the fuck denomination you
Ability
want.
to print platinum coins removed.
Yeah, yeah, you're exactly right. And that is a great analogy. You know, it is one of those asshole moves that's technically legal,
Mhm.
but it would have a ton of blowback and it would break the game.
And maybe that's her. That's maybe what she wants to do. I mean, she's part of that communist wing, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that'd be a way to go about it. You realize a loophole in the game, and you want to crash everything out. That's how you do it.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things that I don't think Cloward and Piven would have in one of their wildest fever dreams. Like, you know what Cloward and Piven is,
Yeah.
but yeah, people out there might not know that Cloward and Piven, they had this idea that to bring down the United States, just inflate the money supply, expand the welfare state, and essentially bankrupt the U.S. by doing all these feel good things.
You mean the last couple of years of America?
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, who would have thunk it? Yeah, exactly. Right.
I saw they're pushing the Green New Deal again too. So,
yep. Some coins. There we
Yeah.
go. Platinum coins. Platinum coins for everybody. Speaking of burning down America, the Chauvin trial concluded today in rather quick succession. I was surprised. A coworker of mine asked me, he said, how long do you think the verdict is going to take? And I said, well, it's either going to be really, really quick or really, really long. There's not going to be any middle ground. And very, very quickly was how they decided that they were going to wrap things up.
I don't know. I'm kind of surprised there wasn't some rioting anyways.
Give it time. There will be some celebratory rioting. They're gonna. Some people are gonna realize that they missed out on their opportunity to get themselves a flat screen TV with the old 5-finger discount. So there'll be some celebratory rioting. Give it a day or two.
I'm not disappointed in the verdict, I guess. I mean, maybe it'll discourage cops from being assholes in that situation.
Yeah, perhaps. I'm a little bit surprised. Manslaughter to me was kind of a slam dunk.
Yeah.
Negligent homicide, manslaughter, that to me was a given. But murder to me, especially with a lot of the things that came out in discovery that the defense put up there, murder. I'm not a lawyer, but I think that the jury realized that if they let him off of any, that he was going to burn, and so they caved. And to me, that means that signals to the left, in particular, the violent Antifa, communist, BLM, all the rogues gallery of retards that are kind of running the show right now, that all they have to do is be violent and shitty enough, and they will get their way no matter what. Justice is dead.
Yeah, that's probably what the price you pay if you're going to live in a city, though. I don't know what to think about that.
Silence, rootless urbanites.
What's that?
I said silence, rootless urbanites.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about that. Yeah, I don't know what that'll signify going forward. That if you don't get you can just riot and burn stuff down. I mean, they're only going to drive their own city. I mean, it's going to drive somebody's got to pay for it. It'll drive taxes up where they live, and it'll just be an endless toilet bowl
right,
flushing their city down.
Yeah, and it's going to be businesses, or the unemployment rate is going to skyrocket. The city is going to get worse and worse. The people who have a little bit of money, the entrepreneurs, are going to move, and all of the systemic problems that we're always hearing about that are making lives so terrible for inner city minorities is just going to spiral out of control. They're going to get worse. and worse, and more things like this are going to happen with, drugs being used as an escape and interactions with the police, and things are just going to get more violent until the whole, like, let's just, remember Trump's wall? Let's just build them around urban centers and let them be to their own devices.
Well, and to take the other side, I guess, to play devil advocate here, maybe they weren't getting listened to, and if the cities had actually looked into, I mean, the Minneapolis police force had a terrible record of shooting people and beating people and getting off the hook for it. So
Yeah.
if that's what, if they tried, if all the other avenues were tried and burning shit down was the only way to get an answer out of it, maybe that's what they felt they had to do.
Maybe, we got nothing but the future to look forward to.
I mean, even that Chauvin guy, wasn't his police force record just terrible?
Yeah, he had like 17 demerits on his record or something for various bullshit.
I've even fucked up at my job 17 times over 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if enough cities get burnt down and ran into the ground, we'll finally get a crack into these police unions and qualified immunity. And, the city will realize, look, we got to put an end to this. Cause I've always stated, a city's an organism. It's going to try and survive. So if enough cities go down the toilet because they're letting their police force run amok, maybe they'll do some reform on the police.
Yeah, that is true. And then, of course, we also have to deal with the fact that because of the media and political circus that surrounded this whole ordeal, that at least some of, if not all of the charges are going to be dropped eventually on appeal. And that will open up a whole new can of worms. But if that happens, if all of these charges get dropped or a higher court declares mistrial because of how politicized and how publicized the whole trial was, and this guy gets off scot-free, 1, 2, 3 years down the road, you're going to have more riots, more violence, more of everything, but they'll have nobody to blame but themselves this time for making such a big deal out of it. It'll be very much. I heard today a comparison to the trial of Sam Shepard in the 1950s, and you might not know who that is, but do you know the movie The Fugitive? Yeah, The Fugitive was based on this guy, Sam Shepard. He was accused, he's a neurosurgeon, a doctor, and he was accused of murdering his wife in, I think, 1954 or something like that. And news, like upper middle class neurosurgeon kills wife, and he was convicted, but 12 years later he was acquitted by the Supreme Court, who cited the media circus-like environment surrounding the entire case, declared mistrial, and he was let off the hook for
it. I mean, of course they'll try and appeal it. They always try to appeal on something, but I think I saw a stat like only 4% of appeals go back to trial. Yeah. So, that might be a hot potato that no judge is willing to touch.
It is a bit of a hot potato, and it's very much like Trump with his challenging the election. The Supreme Court decided not to hear it, not because of any, lack of evidence or anything like that, but because they just didn't want the country to burn down.
Yeah.
There was a Supreme Court aide heard Justice Roberts screaming at Clarence Thomas that we're not going to hear this trial because there will be riots. It's like, oh, great. That's what justice is all about, appeasing the mob.
Yeah, well, at some points it is, I guess. You get some, what do we got over here? But they have Chauvin on tape. Shepard's didn't have that. Well, true.
Yeah, true. One angle, but apparently the defense brought up another angle, and it doesn't look like he was on the guy's neck. So perspective, I guess.
I don't know. I looked at it like, if I was doing that to somebody, what would the police do to me?
Yeah.
I doubt I would have got off scot-free.
No, no, you at least would have gotten an assault charge or
Manslaughter.
second degree murder. Which is what they hit him with was an unintentional death in the course of another crime. So like they made the case that he was engaged in unlawful assault, which ended up in an unintentional death. But at the same time, he was following police training and procedures, and the guy ended up dying of a fentanyl overdose and like 90% arterial blockage. So I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, and this whole thing has just been a fucking circus.
Yeah. Well, and there's been a lot. I mean, I wish Daniel Shaver's case would get reopened. I'd like to see that one revisited.
Yeah, that one was pretty cut and dry.
And I don't understand. That's just one of those ones out of every single case within the last couple of years where somebody got shot. Probably him or the kid that was walking through the park in what was it, Colorado Springs. He was autistic, had his headphones on, and the cop shot him. That was probably the worst ones that I can think of.
Yeah, or the autistic guy playing with a toy truck in the street and ended up ended up hitting his like mental health advisor or coach or whatever the guy was. It's pretty ridiculous. There are some extreme cases out there that should have been the blown up media circus that we got. George Floyd probably pretty low on the list, but hey, racism.
Well, and I don't understand why the one in Colorado wasn't bigger, because he was black also. I think it's just because the George Floyd one had 10 people around with cell phones filming it.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it was just hard to watch. Even, he's saying he can't breathe, I'm going to die, calling for his mommy.
Yeah.
I think if the other ones had people on site that were videoing it, it'd be a different story.
Yeah, it might also be a bit of karma, because it seems like every single one of these people that groups like Black Lives Matter tries to lionize end up being just ridiculous scumbags in the end. So just like, oh, we got a police brutality case. Oh, shit. Yeah, he was a rapist and a murderer
The one guy was a real dick. Wasn't he also in Minnesota? Or no, Wisconsin. The dude in Wisconsin.
The Kenosha guy.
Yeah, he was a real dick. That one just kind of went away after that came out.
Yeah. It's like we can hype up this whole police against black people thing, but we're also going to have to try and explain away the rapist, misogynist part of it. So let's just make it all about the 16-year-old kid that ended up defending himself, and that'll be.
Well, what was Derek Chauvin's? What he had? I mean, he had drug abuse issues. Was that all of? I mean, he wasn't as bad as that guy, at least the Wisconsin guy.
Well, George Floyd did.
George Floyd, I mean, sorry.
Yeah, he did commit armed robbery by putting a loaded pistol against a pregnant woman's belly. That was pretty scummy. And the drug stuff and the counterfeiting and all of that. But I mean, that's there's going to be some fedora tipping edgelords that are going to be like, that's not a death sentence. And yes, I agree. That's not a death sentence. But
the one who admitted he had a knife on national TV, which one was that? Oh,
that was the Kenosha guy.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember that guy's name. That's how quickly he disappeared from the spotlight.
Also, the Army lieutenant that got roughed up too. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I did.
That one was kind of bullshit. And that one kind of went away. I don't know why they didn't push that one.
I think that it was probably got lost in the media hype about this trial coming to a conclusion, and it'll probably bounce back in the media.
I guess I don't see the rhyme or reason to which ones they push then.
Yeah, maybe it is like I said. Maybe it's just karma. Maybe they just lionize scumbags by accident getting their comeuppance. It's like, oh, this army lieutenant, he's too nice of a guy. You know, we can't make a saint out of him. You know, he didn't try to armed rob some pregnant woman while high on meth. You know, it's let's just skip that one.
Oh, well, apparently somebody over Jacob Blake was that guy's name. Somebody remembered it. He's vanished completely.
Yeah, Jacob Blake. Yeah, completely gone. He's still alive though. So
they burned down Wisconsin and 3 people died for somebody that hardly anybody remembers his name now.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, whatever happened to the Kenosha kid? That'll probably get us kicked off Facebook talking about it, won't it?
They yeah, maybe. The news is actually doxing public sector employees who donated to his legal fund. They wrote a big hit piece about how police and EMTs are donating to his defense fund, and they ended up finding like 2, a guy that donated $25 and a guy that donated 10. And they ended up showing up to one guy's house and trying to interview him as to why. And he's like, get the fuck off my lawn.
Well, that'll be a test to your theory that, you know, they're caving into the mob when his trial comes up. If he gets, I don't know. It seems like people are split on that one quite a bit, but
yeah,
I don't think I think it's self-defense on that one. We've been over that, but you know, depending on what the outcome of his trial is, that would be a good litmus test of the mob mentality trial you brought up.
He ended up shooting a fucking pedophile.
Yeah, pedophile, and what was the other one? The other one was the guy that got his arm blown off. He had some weird deal too.
Yeah, neither one of them were exactly good people.
Doesn't mean they needed to die, but it seems, I mean, maybe the wood chipper for the one guy, but
yeah, exactly. Bullet was too nice for him. Which kind of gives us a nice little segue into the other thing that I
pedophiles. I was lobbing that softball up there for you.
Right, there we go. Yeah, this is why I don't drink on these shows anymore. Gotta make these connections, right? Yeah, so I send a link through our text rather than our group chat because unfortunately it goes to InfoWars.
Uh-oh.
Darn it, can't say the verboten word, but apparently there was a drag show at a strip club in Los Angeles where they were parading around little kids, like 7 to 10 or something like that. Absolutely haram.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to be a transsexual and have your drag show, whatever, but I mean, there's no situation where that would work out. I mean, I don't even think beauty pageants are haram.
Yeah,
those creepy child beauty pageants. I mean, if you ask me, the kids getting paraded around the drag show are just as bad as the kids getting paraded around those creepy ass beauty pageants.
Yeah, exactly. So in the video that was embedded in that link that I sent to you, there's a woman who is she's videotaping it, and she's just like, who the hell brought these kids? It's 11:45 at night, and they got these little kids up here on this stage parading around, striking sexy poses, and grown-ass men are throwing money at them like they're strippers.
I don't even know where to go with that one.
Right, it's that slippery slope that we were told doesn't exist. Yeah, I'm sliding. What about you?
It seems like everything slides over to pedophilia for some reason. Why is that at the bottom of all the slides? I don't get it.
I don't know. we're on our way there, and another stop on the slippery slope is, I guess, a guy, an activist in Australia, is talking about trying to legalize consensual incest. So it's, I mean, we already got people like marrying inanimate objects and pets and themselves. Why not? Why not consensual incest? Why not sex with children?
Well, I saw Mormons are making a big push. Some of the Mormon cults are making a big push again for plural marriage because some states have started allowing marriages between multiple people. So like a group of 3 people can get married. So now the Mormons were like, hey, we want to do that. And then then the states are like, the states that allowed are like, no, that's misogynist.
Well, I mean, they're just saying like plural marriages. It doesn't say it has to be like one man and a bunch of women, are they?
I think that's what the Mormons want. I don't know. I'm not big on my Mormonism, but most of these plural marriages were like, it was bizarre 4-way contracts between 2 men and 2 women with exit clauses and stuff like that.
So swingers.
I don't know. I didn't understand what was going on with it when I read the article.
Well, pragmatically speaking, in today's economy, a 1-man and 2-woman marriage might be the ideal situation where the guy has a full-time job and the 2 women have part-time jobs, and that way you don't have to like spend money on daycare or anything.
Well, I think one of they interviewed several couples, and one of them, that's why they wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Was the one guy had a well-paying job and he wanted to get him on his benefits. But the others, it was just like, why do you need a marriage contract to do what you're doing? Just go do it. It didn't make any sense to me.
No, that is probably the biggest argument against the whole fight for like the gay marriage.
You cut out a second.
Oh, I said that the whole gay marriage thing that was winding its way through the court a few years back, you're not arguing for legalized gay marriage. You're arguing for state recognized gay marriage. If you want to be in a committed relationship between 2 men or 2 women, just do it. And if you're worried about the legal, thing, if you break up or whatever, you build a life together and you decide to get a, equivalent of a divorce, just write a contract.
Yeah, you can get a contract right now. Just go do it.
Yeah, it's and that's the thing where I'm just like, I didn't understand the whole gay marriage debate. It's like, if 2 men or 2 women are living together, are the cops going to bust down your door and like drag one of you away to jail? No. Like,
that's why I thought they should just do away with state marriage altogether.
Exactly. The only reason that you would want it is for tax purposes, and we all know
the whole reason it all started. You probably know this, but the whole reason it all started was because of racism. It's like gun control.
Yeah.
They wanted to be able to control who was marrying who.
Exactly.
That's part of why they had the blood test too. Oh yeah, your blood's incompatible. So I mean, you can't bring that up now, though.
No, it's one of those.
Just get rid of it.
Yeah, get rid of it. It's like the Department of Education. It's only been around since 1976. What the fuck did we do before then? Turned a frontier into the most powerful country on earth. Won 2 world wars. I'd say we were doing pretty good right up before then.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're Christian, if you're getting married for religious reasons, well, that's between you and God, I guess. You and the God that you're worshiping, and if you think you can break up and not pay the price for it, that's up to you.
Yeah, exactly.
I think somebody in Nebraska tried. Maybe it was Laura. Even she tried to get a bill like that at one point
to get rid of state marriage.
Yeah, it didn't get out of committee though.
Yeah, and people are just too afraid to look back like 50 years and see what we did before then.
Oh,
I
the
guess
other
now.
thing, speaking of messages you sent earlier, what you said something on InfoWars about terrorists at the border. You brought up InfoWars earlier.
Yeah, so James O'Keefe and Project Veritas have been doing the Lord's work with all sorts of exposés
Oh, the
about
CNN thing. That was
yeah,
stellar.
whew, lad,
That just
that
went
was
away.
yeah, right along with James O'Keefe's personal Twitter account. You know that Jeff Zucker called up Twitter and was like, "End it, pull the plug,
Shut it down.
shut it down. They know too much." But yeah, so apparently a pretty high-ranking terrorist on our terror watch list was apprehended in Mexico and let go, making his way here eventually. And because the border is essentially wide open, and because not only is our border patrol being told to let people in, they're being told to facilitate these illegal immigrants to go wherever it is that they want to go in the country. They're being given manila envelopes with "I don't speak English, please help me to my gate." They're being facilitated to fly somewhere. Yeah, this guy will probably come in, say his name is Juan Ramirez or whatever, and hop on a flight to God knows where to do God knows what.
Hmm. Yeah, and open borders is Tarian points too. I'm I'm not wide open. Like there's no border here. Just walk in. I'm more of if you show up. I mean, have it controlled. Show up. Get stamped into the system. Go get a job. I mean, there's plenty of jobs in America.
Yeah,
There's no reason
exactly.
we should be turning people away. Even I mean, the unemployment rate in a lot of areas is like 2%, 2-3%. Why are you going to turn
Yep.
people away?
It's, that's a very good point. There are jobs to do, and the people who want to come and do work should be more than welcome to come in. But it goes back to that whole argument about, oh, we can't have open borders until we do away with our system. I would add on to that we can't have open borders while our military is bombing half the fucking planet, and
Yeah.
large swaths of the planet hate our guts just for residing within the borders that our warmongering government
Yeah, talk
controls.
about karma. How many refugees are we making pouring into other countries, and we're going to bitch about people coming in here?
Yeah,
So,
it's ridiculous.
yeah, check them in, get them in the system. They'll start paying taxes. There's plenty of jobs. I don't understand what the deal is,
Yeah.
as opposed to the crap show they have going on right now, which I don't even know what the policy is. I don't think people coming to the country even know what the policy is. They just show up and hope for the best.
Well, yeah, it's during one of the presidential debates where Biden said, "If I get elected, as soon as I'm sworn in, surge the border." That was his exact words: was "surge the." And so, by God, they did. And they're just like, "Oh shit, what do we do with all of these people that are doing exactly
Well, and
what the
that's
president
that's
said?"
fucked up. That's fucked up for those guys too, because those guys spend all that money to get here. And okay, surge a border. They're in the country illegally still. They're not. They're not contributing. They're not getting any benefit from the system.
No,
They're not going to
no.
get Social Security when they're done, but they still get it taken out of their taxes or out of their paychecks. They're not going to be eligible for it. Maybe that's just some underhanded, shitty thing that they're doing to pad Social Security.
It could be, but I think that the expectation is some type of amnesty, and the people are trying to get here, before that gate kind of shuts. And it's people, they make a lot of hay about you can't talk about replacement migration or replacement demographics or anything, like, because that's racist. It's like, well, it's not necessarily replacement immigration, but it is getting people in, as many as you can, levying an amnesty, and then it's implied that you owe us now. You will be Democrat voters for generations. And I think that's what they're trying to do, is they're just getting as many people here as they can, spreading them out throughout the country, which is why Border Patrol is facilitating people going all over the place. You know, Montana, Idaho, some of the deepest parts of our country, they're shipping these illegal immigrants to with the probable expectation of an amnesty to tens of thousands, if not millions, of new Democrat voters.
Well, that would have been fine if it was the old Democrat Party. So the Hispanic community is, you have to look at it. It's male centric. They're Catholic.
Yep.
They're mostly conservative. That doesn't line up at all with SJW progressives that the Democrat Party is.
Yeah, it doesn't on its face, but you know the progressive stack is an ever shuffling deck of cards where
you have a decent Hispanic community there, don't you, in Grand Island? We're about 30% here.
Yeah.
They were some of the most MAGA sons of bitches around.
Yeah, and that is another reason why I think that they're doing what they're doing, because a lot of the naturalized first and second generation immigrants, they do have those conservative social values, and they went through the long drawn out process of becoming a legal citizen here, so they don't want to see just some schmuck from Mexico or Guatemala jump the border and suddenly get all of the benefits of a U.S. citizenship just because Sleepy Joe said surge the border.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they were very, MAGA centric.
That's a weird play that both the political parties have. I just can't see the Hispanic community going to what the Democrat Party is turning into.
Yeah, it's a weird. It's a gamble. A gamble is probably they probably think that they can do a repeat of what they did in the civil rights era, where they basically bought the black vote with all of the things that they did applied that you owe us now.
Look where that got the black community.
Yep.
They're starting to wake up to that, though. You see a lot of black activists talking about these guys have been fucking us for 4 or 5 decades now, and we have nothing to show for it.
Exactly.
Hispanic community is going to be the same way.
Hopefully it doesn't take 2 or 3 generations for them to figure it out.
It out, right?
Yeah.
Well, and it's trending that they'll be the majority eventually. So I think the black community's got to get their shit together before the Hispanic community is the majority, because they're not going to give a shit about their problems.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I said on Friday. It's like the core demographic of Black Lives Matter is upper middle class white liberal women.
Yeah, one of my friends showed me. I don't know what he was looking at, but it was a photo of Black Lives Matter, and it was all like middle-aged Karens all holding Black Lives Matter signs.
Yeah, it's virtue signaling, and the Hispanic community, whether or not they get that implied message that you owe us, or they come in and decide to vote their cultural values more conservatively, they're not going to give a shit about BLM.
Yeah. They didn't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't bring your ass over here in boats. We were.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't get. Probably the most privileged. Nathan disagrees on privilege. I don't remember if I've argued with you about privilege before, but the most privileged group in America is the upper middle class white woman.
Oh yeah, there's never been a point in history where being a white woman was more beneficial.
An attractive upper middle class white woman in her 20s, the world's her oyster. She can get anything she wants if she feels like it.
Yep.
And that's the people that are marching for BLM. They're probably causing the issue.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you see the ones that are throwing the first punches are usually these, like, they're not the upper middle class, like hoity-toity WASP types, but they're like the rebellious college age kid who had a good upbringing, and they don't have any dragons of their own to slay, so they've got to find white supremacy everywhere.
Yeah,
And
when the white supremacy is with them and their soft racism.
yeah, precisely. It's like, oh, you poor black and brown people are not sophisticated enough to speak on your own behalf. Here, let me battles for you because I know that your racial handicap makes you incapable. It's like, dude, what the fuck?
One of my favorite left. I have some progressive Facebook friends just because they're interesting. And there's this one dude. He's Filipino, and he's a raving progressive. But we agree on, there's some intersect with libertarians and the left wing progressives on how things are screwed up with corporatism. But he's active in the Democrat Party in Nebraska, and he calls out those Karens every chance he gets. It's just it's just a chef's kiss when he does it.
Yep.
I wish more people realized what was going on with him. I mean, he sees right through it.
Yeah, I have progressive friends on Facebook for the same reason that normal people go to the zoo.
I this is getting way off topic, but I don't understand these people that curate their Facebook friends list. This person bugs me, I'm going to get rid of them.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
this person says inflammatory shit, I'm going to get rid of them. I've got everything from communists to white nationalist fascists that are on my Facebook friends list, just because you need to see what those people are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to keep tabs on certain people.
Probably some will come back to bite me if they go he's friends with this guy, but
oh yeah, I see posts like that. I see posts like that all the time from certain people that are just like, oh, I can't believe that I have 17 mutual friends with this fascist shitbag. And it's like, sometimes people just want to watch the show. Like, I never comment or argue with anybody, but I will get into those comment sections and creep.
Yeah.
Just to see the arguments bounce back and forth because it's entertaining.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting to see. I mean, they'll use different buzzwords to hide what they're saying, and both sides will, the leftist progressives and the right-wing fascist types. So, you won't even know what they're talking about if you don't know what they're hiding. They're coding their language as when it pops up.
Dog whistles everywhere.
Yeah, like the 3 parentheses thing.
Yeah.
They got a bunch of them.
Yep.
Did we hit on everything? I thought we had another topic. We talked on the.
I don't know.
Not as organized without Nathan here.
No, Nathan hasn't done notes in a long time, and I kind of like it. We kind of hit a broad range of topics: crypto and modern monetary theory and shady platinum coins and pedophiles and polygamy and all sorts of cool shit.
Yeah. Well, we're a little early, but I'm out of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I got pizza waiting on me.
You got pizza waiting?
Yeah. Me and the wife have been going to the gym like every day, and so we got out of the gym at like 8:00 and got here, took a shower, and she ordered pizza, and I jumped on this
carbo load
after I fed the piglet.
Nice. All right. Well, I'll close this out. Thanks for listening, everybody. Go to roads2liberty.com. Check out our Liberty merch. Token will be back next week, and we have a big Friday show coming up, don't we?
Yes, we do. We're going to be talking.
Plug that, baby.
Yeah, we're going to be talking to Cole Presnell, who is a criminal trial lawyer from Colorado. And Ed Black. We're going to be talking about Joe Biden's gun control plan and all.
Man, Ed has been spicy as fuck on his Facebook. Is he a honeypot like us now?
He might be. He posts some spicy shit, and then you get down in the comments section, and people.
He posted a couple comics lately that I read him, and I'm like, what? This madman.
Yeah, exactly. But they're very, very prescient and very
Yeah,
appropriate.
he has a good following too, so that should be a fun chat section if you tune into that one.
Yeah.
And Cole Presley, you've been trying to get him on for a while, haven't you?
No, this is a relatively new guy. He is Ed has him as a comic book character too. He's the guy that's called Eagle. He's
Oh, okay.
the lawyer character in Ed's comics, and I just thought, hey, we're gonna see if we can talk to this lawyer about lawyer shit, and he was down for it. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I'm thinking of the other guy, gun owners. You had somebody in Colorado with National Association of Gun Owners, didn't you?
Oh yeah, that was actually I think in Tennessee,
Oh, he's in Tennessee.
but
Okay.
yeah, I wanted to get him on, but he was just way too busy.
Yeah. So everybody tune in this Friday, 9 Central. We'll see if Ed can get his zucked. I don't know what is going on with our shows. They go for like 2 minutes and then it's like bam, kicked off Facebook. I don't know why they even let us try and go live with it. Just tell us fuck off. Don't give us a little hope and then
Well, we'll share it to the Facebook page, and you can just watch it on the YouTubes. I say that we need to kind of diversify, but I really don't want to be the guy in charge of uploading it to like Rumble or
I don't even know what the fuck
BitChute.
those are.
Yeah,
Rumble.
BitChute, Rumble, all
Rumble
these
sounds
alternative.
Rumble sounds like a grinder alternative or something. I know.
It's a YouTube alternative. Dan Bongino's an investor to it.
Oh, okay.
It's like conservative YouTube, basically.
Well, we can just upload the videos, but so yeah, everybody, this Friday, 9 Central, Ed Black, I Survived the Kali Yuga. Go check out his web comic. You can see the Hobbs character on there. Get some spice in your life with it. Thanks.